Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 931, we're going to talk about Magus Lucea Kane. Now, this deck is brought to you by our wonderful patrons. If you would like to join the patron community, the link is right below. And Dragon Shield. This deck is in Dragon Shield gold matte sleeves. You can find them at your friendly local game store. And if you are in Jackson, Tennessee, or anywhere nearby, I have a suggestion for that FLGS to where you can come and get one of these dice if you are lucky enough. Anybody that beats me gets one of these. So, in anything. So, let's look at Kane here, shall we? Kane is 4 mana, green, blue, red, for a 1/1 human Tyrannid wizard. Now, this is from the 40k decks, obviously. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you get a 1/1 counter on a creature. Okay. And then it taps to add double colorless to cast a spell with X in its converted mana cost, or activate an ability with X in its mana cost. So, and if you do, you get to copy it. That is big game. That is all kinds of big game. Our commander just tapping for 2 mana, that's not nothing, and then doubling your X. Now, this is an X spell deck. It is a crazy X deck. There is a lot of things, like I pulled Roshin from way back in Shadowmoor. That deck is actually on the channel. It probably needs to be updated because there's so much more stuff for it now. The Elementalist Palette, 2 charge counters on it whenever you cast an X. And then a lot of this deck is going to be from the Warhammer 40k Tyrannid deck. That deck is very X-Spell focused. I love that basic lands get double colorless for X. But let's look at our mana ramp, because naturally we don't want X to be like 3. We want X to be like, 482. So we have the ramps, and we have a bunch of it. Soul Ring, Talisman of Creativity, Thought Vessel. We're going to go through these ones that were in the actual Tyrannid deck first. Mind Stone, Cultivate, Wayfarer's Bauble, Gilded Lotus, Arcane Signet, Rampant Growth, Farseek, Commander Sphere, Hedron Archive. Like I said, it's a bunch. Harrow, Unstable Obelisk. That's what was in the deck prior to Brian tinkering with it, but I felt like it needed a little more, so I did a little more. Dreamstone Hedron, which is also going to double for cards if we need it. Spectral Searchlight, Felwar Stone, the Timur Banner, and Decanter of Endless Water. Now, I've got Silvala of the Wilds in there because there's a good chance. I mean, a green mana X in any combination of colors where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. And the first ability, drawing a card, because we are probably going to have the biggest creatures, right? I mean, you would think. So, have not a whole lot of card draw. I mean, well, I have all the X spells gathered together, so they are in the X spell category. A lot of our card draw is in that. But Growth Spiral and Grown Up Growth Spiral, the Urban Evolution. I am running Bred for the Hunt. Now, a lot of our X spells, our X creatures are going to be +1/+1 counters, i.e. Hydra-esque things. So that's another card draw spell. The Plaxcaster Frogling. Target creature with 1 counter, it gains Shroud until end of turn. That's insane. And I always look for a deck where I can use Guided Passage. I love it. You play Guided Passage and you just hand your deck to somebody and say, give me 3 cards. Now, because we play in a very political format, and I love it, you know when you're going to do this. And you are, or at least I am going to maximize my niceness to one player over and over again for the couple of turns prior to me casting this, and then choose them. So maybe I can get, you know, a little higher quality things. But ideally, it's going to get you the worst of 3 different categories. But still, it's a 1 for 3 in that case. And with my luck drawing, it's way better than what I would draw, probably. All right, so we are going to go with the same philosophy here. Once we get to X spells, we are going to do the Warhammer 40k items first, which there's a whole bunch. The Tyrant Guard, Ravenous. Now, I like Ravenous. Enters the battlefield with X1 counters. If it's 5 or more, draw a card when it enters. Creature you control counters hexproof and indestructible. That's really good if you sack it. The Mawlock also has Ravenous. Hormigaunt Horde. Landfall. Aberrant. Ravenous. Broodlord. I like that ability because a lot of these will just replace themselves. I love the Ravenous. Tervagon. The Zoanthrope. Right? Flying Ward 2 deals X damage to a target. I mean, you're getting double mana, well, I say double mana, double usage out of this. You're getting the big creature and the removal. Exocrine. Sporocyst. Termagant Swarm. Ravener. Now, Starstorm, decent removal. Since we kind of control how big our creatures are and we control how big this is, it's easy to just go up under our smallest creature and wipe the board of all the little things. Pretty neat. Now we have the X spells that Brian added. We have Finale of Promise. Yeah. All the X spells. Commander's Insight. Target player draws X cards plus an additional card for each time they've cast a commander. Here again, this is one of those political cards that you can, you know, it says target player. Fractal Summoning. Goblin Offensive. One of my favorite flavor text of all time. Goblin Offensive. They certainly are. X-Goblins. All right. Nimbus Swimmer for a giant flyer. Banefire. Sometimes that thing has to go. Now, I also subscribe to the philosophy that the best card removal sometimes is player removal. So sometimes you just got to eliminate the player if you don't have answers for. Gelatinous Genesis. Now, this is a double X, but it is well worth the double X. I mean, that's a monster. It is, you know, an actual fleet of monsters. Curse of the Swine, some good removal there. I love that it's X. Nobody ever expects this card out of blue. I'll give them 2/2 boars all day long to get rid of their Seedborn Muses and whatevers, you know. Turgors. Kerberos. Just a good old-fashioned Hurricane. We don't have a whole lot of flyers in the deck, and Hurricane can get us there with the flyers, and it can also end the game quick. Be careful. Check your life. Savage Twister's good removal. Fractal Harness. Double the number of 1/1 counters on it. Double the number of... Man. Epiphany at the Drown Yard. Finale of the Revelation. Uncage the Menagerie. Pull from Tomorrow. And my personal favorite card from Dominaria United, Shivan Devastator. Flying haste. This is what I want to be doing. I want to be casting giant flying hasty things and just sending them across the battlefield. I love it. Our other removal, we're back to just normal non-X stuff now. Hull Breach was in the deck, and it's an amazing include. I can't have enough Hull Breaches. An offer you can't refuse. Now, this is wild. Counter target non-creature spell. Love it. Of course, naturalize and negate. That's going to bring us to our non-basic lands. Most of these are from the decks. Don't get me wrong; they are pretty good. The 40K decks are just that's some of the best precons they've ever done. So we've seen they can do it. Now they just need to keep doing it. But Thornwood Falls, Terramorphic Expanse, Command Tower, Cinder Glade, Temple of Epiphany, Game Trail, Evolving Wilds, Rugged Highland, Exotic Orchard, Swiftfoot Cliffs, Temple of Epiphany, Frontier Biovac. And then I added a few more because, that was not quite enough tap lands for Brent. Tangled Islet, Slagwood Bridge, Tanglepool Bridge, Timber Gorge, and the most beautiful Shivan Reef I have ever seen. So that is Magus Lucea Kane, and I do appreciate y'all watching, liking, subscribing, sharing, doing all the fun stuff. Thank you so much, and we're going to go ahead and shuffle and cut.